everybody, welcome back. The guy with the face here for another episode of Katawa Shoujo. Last time we met Rin, and we were helping get supplies for the fair. Scoob. As I walked to the back of the room to pick up the items on Misha's list, a chance opens to study Rin from the corner of my eye. Her hair is burnt auburn, almost orange, and cropped short. Long hair would probably be impossible with no arms. The boy's uniform and lack of arms make her look very thin, almost scrawny. She is not particularly pretty, except for her murky green eyes, which flicker restlessly from below her short bangs, even when she eats. I just love how she has a tie. Of all things someone with no arms could have. The distance and the shadows make it seem like they don't reflect sunlight at all, but instead absorb it, all within like deep wells. She moves her feet almost as deftly as a person would use their arms. However, I can see how this sight could discomfort people, especially while eating. Makes me feel a bit uncomfortable, at least. I hesitate to think about the word unnatural, but it's too late now, isn't it? I keep searching the cabinets and shelves for Misha's things, but after enough time passes, the silence grows too uncomfortable. So I try to force some conversation out of this strange girl. So, do you always eat alone and this late, or do you get the occasional visitor? Visitors, maybe you are my first occasional visitor, but I don't always eat alone either. Sometimes I eat with a certain person on the roof, if she's not horsing around. Horsing? She likes to do sports. Oh. And that's all I can think to say. Both of us fall silent again, and as Rin forks the last bits of meal into her mouth. I look down at my haul and double check it with Misha's list. It seems I have everything except plywood. So I think I have all the things now. That's very nice for you. Don't feel obliged to stay. I was about to take a nap anyway. You need to do whatever you're going to do with that stuff anyway, right? Or perhaps you like to watch girls sleeping? Tempting offer, though. Not sure what to make of this, but Rin looks serious. Even if I did, I think I have to be going. So he's not denying it. I'll catch you around, Tezuka. You can call me Rin. I feel that our relationship is at a good point enough to warrant this much. Wow, advancing so quickly. It's an honor. I was already turning to make my exit, but she draws me back in. Fine then, I'm Hisao. Then you are. ... Rin looks at me hard in the eye, but that intimidating feeling you get when someone stares at you isn't there. It's like she's actually not looking at me at all. She blinks a couple of times and I can't figure out why a pause like this just popped between us out of nowhere. See you later, Hisao. There's something like a tiny smile there in her face. Maybe. I quietly back out of the room as I shut the door in front of me, in front of my face. I whisper to myself, what an intriguing person. From inside, I hear a muffled sing-a-song voice. I heard that. Wah ha 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 ha. What did she hear? A jump at the sudden appearance of Misha, who I had not heard approaching despite the complete empty hallway. Somehow she had gotten to jumping distance of me without making a sound. Creepy. It briefly reminds me of Kenji's nutty theory about global feminist conspiracy, but I pushed that thought aside. You're spending too much time with Kenji. Or not enough. Either is a viable option. Shizune, standing silently behind Misha, looks aloof, as she couldn't have heard the remark that drew Misha's attention, but Misha is very excited. No, wait, more importantly, who's in there? There's no club meeting today. She tries to curiously peek past me, even though the door prevents her from seeing anyway. What are you doing here? You took too long, so that we had to come here and check. What's wrong? That's no good, Jan? She wags her finger at me scoldingly. I found plywood, but everything else is still missing because you are tardy. Of all things you could say at a special school for the disabled, tardy is not one of those things. Oh, sorry. I got the things here. I was hoping to bring them. I think you're up to some mischief, Jan. Who's in there with you, I wonder? Misha signs something quickly to Shizune, pointing at her ear a couple of times. Shizune immediately pushes her way past and opens the door into the classroom I just left. I can only imagine the shock she is experiencing. With Shizune's diligence and attitude, the insolence of daring to deface school property by sleeping on top of it must be too much for her to bear. And indeed, she stares at Rin, frozen in place, apart from the slight but noticeable trembling of her shoulders from suppressed rage, I'm sure. Instead of blowing up, Shizune just takes a few deep breaths, adjusts her glasses, and slams the door shut, turning to sign furiously at Misha. Maybe she did blow up and I can't understand it. She shoots a very loaded stare at me, too, as if it was somehow my fault that Rin's sleeping on one of the tables. I hope she's not getting any funny ideas about the reason of my tardiness. I love the jokes in this. Hello. Rin's voice comes from the other side of the door, and it takes a few eye blinks to realize she might have trouble opening it. I open the door to find Rin directly behind it, looking at us with a half-interested, half-sleepy face. Hello. ... Miss Tezuka, what do you think you are doing? You absolutely are not permitted to use school property for such disgraceful activity. It sure is suddenly very crowded in here. I don't know I didn't know I was this popular. It's hard to say whether she's happy or unhappy about the turn of events. At any rate, she ignores Misha/Shizune's scolding, so they have no choice but drop the issue. Shizune taps Misha's shoulders, points to Ren, makes some quick signs. ... Popularity aside, please don't do that anymore. ... Anyway, how's our project going? Will it be done for the festival? Ren looks at them blankly, apparently at ease under the pressure Shizune stares putting on her. I keep wondering about that myself too. Dot dot dot. And we'll think about it harder. As Misha signs her reply to Shizune, her face turns into an unsatisfied frown. Dot dot dot. Miss Suzuka, please try to take this seriously. It'd be a disaster if the wall looks like someone threw up their lunch onto it. Rin nodded assertively. We'll think more seriously. Misha actually giggles at that, but Shizune doesn't. Not even after translation. She just shakes her head, takes the materials from me, and takes off with Misha in tow. Ren frowns slightly as if she looks after the retreating student council duo. How rude. It's true though, I must finish my project before the weekend. There will be a dire consequence if I don't. The end of the world as we know it. Yeah, Kenji is probably spending too much time with people in the school. Like, weekends usually are, but more dire. Much more dire. Maybe I'll postpone my nap to unforeseen future. I'm about to ask what project she has and what these apocalyptic consequences, but she walks back into the art classroom. Since you have nothing to do, would you give me a hand? This paint can doesn't really fit in my bag, but I need it. She kicks lightly at a huge can of paint that's lying on the floor next to the table she was sitting and sleeping on. Lets out a dull clang. Being the gentleman I am, I naturally pick it up. Heavy. As I was being a little bitch again. Yeah, sure. Where do you need me to take it? Away. And with that, she takes off to the hallway, me and the paint can following, since there's little choice for either of us. The hallway is quiet and empty now. Shizune and Misha are gone, so we too leave towards the stairwell at the other end. Every 10 or 15 or 20 steps I have to change the can from one hand to another because the thin handle cuts in my palm. At least it keeps my arms from tiring too fast. Rin strolls on beside me with an uneven pace that I have trouble matching. Or maybe I am walking weird because of the extra weight. Seems one of us is constantly walking too slow or too fast, and I can't figure out which. 2 flights of stairs below, trouble appears in the form of the head nurse and his fox-like grin. And I think that's where I'm going to end it here for today. Hope you enjoyed. Peace.